So we have just now got a bunch of snow in Kentucky. So before we get into this video, guys, I've got a little track right here beside of my house, just a couple of jumps. Would you guys want me to make a video like my experiences riding the Surron in the snow? Like I'll go around town and whatnot, hit some jumps, just ride the Surron in the snow. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into this build video. But if that's something that y'all want to see, don't forget, drop a comment down below and let me know, and I'll try to make that before all this snow melts away. We've gotten quite a bit of it.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Just Like Smith channel. In today's video, we're going to be going over my entire Surron Light B X or Light B Surron X, whatever you guys call it. We're going to be going over the entire build list and showing you what it would cost if you wanted to recreate this exact setup. So this video is going to be, for me, it's just going to be straight to the point, the way that I like YouTube videos to be, or at least the way that I try to make them. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it and go over every single part on this build. Alright guys, so we're going to start at the front and work our way back. This may be a little bit out of chronological order, but I'll be throwing up some videos on the screen of the individual products, and we'll be tallying it up and coming up with a total build cost, which is a question that I've gotten a lot. What would it cost to recreate this exact Surron? So that's what you're going to find out in this video. Let's jump on into it. So starting at the front, I'm going to go ahead and go over the wheel set. So this is a Work 9 1916 wheel set, which means that it has a 19-inch diameter front wheel and has a 16-inch diameter rear wheel. Those are wrapped in some Dunlop MX-34 moto tires. And then onto the suspension. So I've got these big gold Fast Ace forks. You can pick these up from Electric's e-bikes and use my discount code that just got upgraded to 12% off, guys. So we did have Hawk 5, which was a 5% off discount code, and now we have Hawk 12, which is 12% off of your order, anything on Electric's e-bikes. So go support the channel, support your boy, and support Electric's e-bikes with some of the best prices and best products in the e-bike scene. Starting off up top here, we have the Warp 9 direct mount with the Warp 9 stem lock. It's going to be 2 items all up here. And then we also have the Warp 9 head tube clamp. We're going to go on into the Warp 9 handlebars. And then we have the Hope Tech 4 V4 heavy duty mountain bike downhill brakes. So these are black and purple in color, and they look really, really sweet. And these are supposedly the best downhill mountain bike brakes that you can purchase, because we didn't go with a moto brake setup on this bike. It is still running mountain bike brakes. So we wanted to buy the best that they make. Up here on the handlebars, you'll see my Torp display. So that is an upgraded display from the Torp TC500 speed controller, which you can use code HAWK5 and save 5% off if you wanted to purchase a Torp TC500 speed controller off of their website. So on the front here, you may notice that the rotor looks a little bit different than a factory rotor. These actually come with the Warp 9 complete wheel set. Next up, we're going to go over the heart of this machine, electric machine, the Chai battery 7238. So this is a 72 volt 38 amp hour Chai battery, and we have put this thing through the ringer. As you can tell from some of the photos, this bike is nasty right now. I built this bike to ride, to rip, and to run around town, and that's exactly what I've done with it. This is one of the funnest two-wheeled machines that I've ever owned, and I've pretty much rode dirt bikes since I was 3 or 4 years old. Following along right underneath this sweet Chai Battery Systems battery, we've got the skid plate right here. I forget the brand of the skid plate, but I purchased it from Factory Mini Bikes, and it's pretty much like a skid plate that I think it's made in Australia or something, and then multiple different companies import it and sell it as their own brand or whatever. You know how that kind of stuff goes. On the front right here, this is the skid plate for the speed controller. That does come with the TC500. The Torp speed controller, that's the skid plate for that. Then we've got the skid plate on the bottom here to protect your motor. We've got a little Amazon chain guard. I think it was like 20 bucks. And then we have the Warp 9 chain conversion. This is the 420 chain drive conversion, so no more snapping belts. I've had really good luck out of this chain drive conversion if you can handle the noise and you run 72 volt. I have a full separate YouTube video on how to install this and going over my thoughts and opinions, but that video is a little old now and I'm still running it, so it's not awful, but it is a lot louder than the belt. Moving along the back right here, we've got the Guts Racing seat. Guts Racing is a sponsor of the YouTube channel here, but I heavily push their seats. I love the Guts Racing seats. And this is a complete soft seat foam and gripper seat cover with the ribs purple to match the accents on the bike from Guts Racing. So huge shout out to Guts Racing. Now right underneath this sweet Guts Racing seat cover is going to be the Fast Ace rear shock. This is the Fast Ace rear shock purchased with the 550 spring or the 450 spring, I can't remember. And then I also purchased the 600-pound spring from Fast Ace as well. Went ahead and swapped that over. It may look a little bit different to you because I actually ran this thing through the vapor blasting machine and blasted all the black anodizing off of it just to break up the black and blue and purple and gold and everything. I wanted to throw a little bit of silver in there to match with this little guard and some of the bolt heads on all the bolts all over the bike. Right underneath this shock, we've got our Warp 9 triangle and the Warp 9 V3 linkage. So that's going to be an upgraded triangle and linkage. And as far as the bolts go, the triangle has the Warp 9 bolts in the triangle right here on each side. And then the 3 linkage bolts and the top shock bolt, I was sick and tired of bending and breaking those. So I actually sell now on my website a heavy duty bolt kit for this stuff, and I've not bent or broken a single bolt kit. Dropping right down below all of the suspension and the linkage, you'll notice that I have completely different aftermarket foot peg brackets. These are CNC billet aluminum from Prickly Motorsports along with the Prickly foot pegs. Now this stuff, guys, I'm not gonna joke with you. It is super expensive, but damn is the quality there. It came with new upgraded stronger foot peg bolts, and then it comes with the foot peg brace as well, which actually bolts to each bracket with really strong zinc coated bolts. And I really recommend anything from Prickly. Moving along to the rear now, we've got the Warp 9 54 tooth sprocket and a tusk chain purchased from Rocky Mountain. We also have the rear Hope Tech V4s with the 220 Prickly rotor and the 220 Prickly spacer. Then we also have the Grit Shift rear lockdown axle blocks. This is a must, guys. Get rid of your factory axle blocks. Run some lockdown axle blocks. You will not regret it. These are one of the coolest, easiest, like, helps with maintenance, helps with if your rear axle bolt keeps coming loose. Wheel won't move as much, and it's just a lot safer, so definitely run some lockdown rear axle blocks. On the rear, of course, we've got the 16-inch Warp 9 wheel with the heavy-duty spokes. Guys, these things have a couple hundred miles on them, and it's a couple hundred hard miles. There has not been a spoke one come loose, so I'm a huge fan of the Warp 9 wheel sets. So huge shout out to Warp 9 for making a quality wheel. Dunlop MX34 on the back with some Tusk heavy duty tubes, front and rear, that are made, you know, for motocross. So they are very heavy duty tubes. And that brings us to the very back of the bike, which means that we're complete. I hope that I mentioned the Fast Ace front forks. I'm a huge fan of those, other than the fork seals will go out rather quickly, and you want to go ahead and throw some SKF seals. And then I also added a little bit heavier weight fork oil, and dude, I've been loving these forks. Once I put the SKF seals in there, I've done, like I said, a couple hundred hard miles now. No issues with leaking, so I don't think it's a tolerance thing. I think it's just a poor quality oil seal from Fast Ace. And I have a video on how to actually replace the fork seals in the Fast Ace forks. And in that video, I show the part number for the SKF seals. It makes it really easy for you all to throw some SKF seals in your Fast Ace forks if you do already have those. Also, one other thing that I want to note on the brakes, you can get like the black plastic hoses on the brakes or the stainless steel braided brake lines. We did do stainless steel braided brake lines from master cylinder all the way to the caliper, front and rear. So I think that that does help maybe a little bit with brake fade. On the rear, I'll be honest with you guys, with the moto setup, I'm not super happy with the mountain bike brakes, but with the Shinkos, I was really happy with them. And of course, riding around town, I'm even happy with them on the moto setup, which I don't really do much on the moto setup. But with the Shinkos, I was just a lot happier with my brakes than I am with these. These just get so much traction. It's hard to kind of use the brakes and throttle and like feather the throttle and the brakes at the same time, because these things hook up so good, and then they just drag right through, you know, your braking power from the mountain bike brakes. So that's something to note. But like I said, I am still very happy with these brakes, and I weigh 200 pounds. So I'm 6'1", 6 foot tall. Depends on if you count the hair or not, I think. And then right now I weigh right at 200 pounds. I actually was riding this thing around 220, and I've lost right around 20 pounds and still trying to lose a little bit more. I actually weighed in at 199 today. So I'm telling you that, guys, because doing the jumps and stuff that I do, having the stiffer forks and the stiffer rear spring really helps and is very much needed. If you're lighter, doing even bigger jumps than me, it's still going to be needed. But if you're a super light guy and you're just going to ride your bike around town, these are the 60-pound forks and the 600-pound rear spring. And I would probably go with like the progressive rate spring rated forks, and then I would go with like a 450 or a 550 pound rear spring, and that'll just help the ride on smaller bumps and whatnot. And of course you'll still be able to hit some small jumps and have some fun on this bike and do everything that it's capable of doing. But from where I'm a little bit on the heavy side and the big side riding this thing, I definitely needed the stiffer suspension, which I absolutely love. All right guys, so there it is, the long awaited build list video. I cannot believe that it tallied up to this much. That's a lot of money. Of course, this is calculated with the price of a Surron being at $5,500. You used to be able to pick these bikes up for around $4,500 off of Luna-Cycle, and now that's slim to none, or you're having to order off of AliExpress or Alibaba and, you know, risk not ending up with a bike. But at my local Surron dealer, the one nearest to me, they want right around $6,000 out the door for a Surron Light B. But the Surrons are still alive and doing great, and I just wanted to show some love to the OG right here and show you how spending this much money on this makes it capable of everything that you guys watch me do on the YouTube channel. And it's an absolute blast, fun bike to ride, and I absolutely love it. So with that being said, guys, always check the description box down below for any discount codes if you missed them during the video. Always remember, everybody starts out as a nobody, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Also, this is the very first Surron that I was talking about in one of my older videos. This is the very first Surron that's like this. Single shot powder coat, and absolutely knocked it out of the park with this thing. If you watch till the end of this video, it's so worth it, right? Look at this thing. It's two-faced. Swing arm, subframe, and the frame is split down the middle. Illusion blueberry prismatic powder coating on the left side, and Illusion orange on the right side. So I'll have a full video whenever I get this bike done and built for my customer. It's absolutely sick. So stay on the lookout for that.